Hey y'all.
Hey girl.
Ain't nobody joining.
No, I can't even make it public yet. This is just gonna be all be edited.
No worry.
Just talking to the people, ain't nobody. Alright. So I'm officially about to start the recording.
Okay, let's do it.
All
All phones.
Please put your phones on silent.
Yes, sir.
I feel like if you had this, you could make this like a.
Hey guys, welcome to the Channel Blue Show. This is my official. I'm gonna have to start over.
A little bit over.
Do we need to come down soon, or is it fine? I can't see. I'm going up. You okay? I got some music next.
I'm good. I'm not sick.
Let's see how that sounded. Hey guys, actually stay there.
Just talking.
Channel Blue
Shut up.
Show. This is my official. I'm gonna have to start over. Hey guys, welcome to the Channel Blue Show. This is my official first episode where I'll be having two co-hosts, assisting me with this in the coming out episode. I decided to make this my first episode because I wanted it to be something unique and or share with others who had unique stories. And the two that will be joining me are kind of some of the people that I met when I first came out. So with that being said, I'll hand it over to Swank to introduce himself.
Hey everybody, I'm Deontay. Some people call me Swank or Swanky. That's my Instagram name. But what else should I say? That's it.
And then we'll hand it over to
Trey Ron. Hey guys, people
did I
call
say
me
it wrong?
Wongi.
Teron?
Trey Ron.
Trayvon.
Some people call me Wongi. So
It's easier to say that.
yeah.
And of course, I'm the host. Channel Blue, always the bad guy. Y'all think it, I say it. Well, again, this episode will be about coming out. If you want to just dive directly into it, hopefully others will listen around to this episode and be able to share the experience and make it easier. Again, y'all, it's 2022 at this point. People be gay like all the time. Ain't no such thing as a straight person.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest. So, I'm gonna open it up to one of you to see if you would like to share your coming out story. Whichever one, because I know I had 3 instances with my family. It came out in phases.
Yeah.
So whichever one you want to share first, if you would like me to go first to set the tone, I can. But if you would like to, I'll open it up to you.
Go ahead and set the tone for us.
So okay. So I will use an instance of my older sister. This was my graduation day, graduating from Southwestern Senior High School. I was the trade. I don't care what nobody say. I was the trade. I am the trade. I am the trade. And I invited my boyfriend at the time to my high school graduation. It was me, my mother, my sister, my boyfriend, and my 2 nephews and my grandmother. And I made him sit in the back while my family sat up front. And the whole time I kept on noticing my sister kept looking in the back, just asking who it was, since he was taking pictures of me and only me. So let's fast forward through the graduation. I kind of made him stay like in the background. I really didn't want him near my family. To them, they was just my friend.
Yeah.
To my grandmother, it was my little friend. To my mother, she didn't know who he was. To my sister, that's probably somebody doing it to my brother. That's how she thought.
Trust me, I'm pretty sure your grandmother knew who he was.
So yeah, my grandmother knows everything. So
Yeah.
I'll save that for another part of the story as far as with my grandmother. But my sister let me use her car for graduation, to go out to eat with The boy. I'm sure you know who the boy is that was in my mirror.
I don't remember.
Remember when you installed my cable? My
Bitch.
cable?
All I remember is Britney Spears, bitch. That's all I remember. To this day, that's all I got.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the first time I ever seen him, like I had a interaction with him in person. However, the person that was in my mirror, it'll make sense once I say who it is. Names will a little blinked out because I won't give them any publicity.
Yeah.
However, going towards the end of the night, my sister picks both of us up, and I pick my sister up, and she's driving back. She drops him off home, so she's pulling back up to my mother's house, and as we pulling up, I go to get out the car, and the doors are locked, and she had the child safety lock on. So I'm trying to get out the car. I'm like yanking at the door. She was like, "You can't get out." I was like, "What you mean?" She was like, "But you can come out to me." I was like,
Ooh.
"Bitch, you don't let me out this car." I started shaking the door like, "Bitch, get me out this car." She was like, "You can't get out." So I started calling my mother on the phone. My mother would not answer the phone. My sister just sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy. She was like, "That boy, at least he cute." Like, because we Renee kids, we don't have ugly significant others. I was like, significant other. I was like, "That's my friend." She was like, "I went through your phone. The messages you sent him, that's not your friend. Like, you should not stop sending pictures of if you ask the boys." I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "Can you just get me out the car?" "Yes, that's my man. That's my man."
Bitch, I thought
Whatever
you was
you
a
wanna call
trade. The fuck?
Right.
Sending ass shots?
As the trade do that.
Okay.
They do a little
Trade is
jiggle and keep it moving, bitch.
very much that. So that wasn't even the initial come out. That was one of the last ones. But that's the most memorable one. Was my sister would not let me out the car. She said the only way you can get out this car is if you come out to me. And I'm like, "Bitch, come out." Like, "What do you mean?" She was like,
Force will come out.
so you ain't gay? She was like, I've known you for 16 years of your life. You can't hide nothing to me." So that just goes to show, even when you think people are not paying attention, they always are. So,
Yeah.
but I would rather have that experience. As scared and nervous as I was about it, I would only want to have that experience with my family, in that early on coming out, or, just discovering who I was and what I wanted to be. I am the trade.
Yeah.
I'm not fam, but I ain't hard.
Oh, shit.
You in between.
I'm in between. I'm father, son, and Gucci. That's what I'm getting. So I want to know what your coming out story was.
I actually have a couple. So,
One
like,
second, I'm sorry. Everyone, this is Wangi,
oh, yeah, this is Trayron.
Trayron,
Yeah.
Wangi.
So, I can tell you, I guess my family already knew I was going to be gay. I was one of those gays that, like, I'm an unorthodox gay. Like, I
For
wasn't
the
a
people that
typical
don't
gay.
know what that means, can you
So, like, I played with Barbie dolls, like, in the bathroom. It was like I was taking a long shit, but I was literally playing with the Barbie dolls in the bathroom or whatever. But, like, my feet stink, my underarms stink, funky drawers, all that. Not the typical gay, ballerina type gay that the African American community, had, ideals of, or like, how like the movies in the 90s, the gay person was the barber shop, the beautician or whatever. Like, I like everything. Like, I like football, I like baseball, like I was funky, I could fuck you up, like, but also like, I still had this high pitched voice, bitch. Like, so, so like my aunt told me that she said my mom knew I was going to be gay or whatever. But I can tell you, my mom, she never, like when she saw me playing with Barbie dolls, she never like, no. She just let me fucking keep playing with Barbie dolls or whatever. But I can tell you, like you said, people pay attention. So like, I think I didn't know this was a thing in high school where like it was a thing where you couldn't talk to your high school best friend sitting in the dark or like laying in bed talking to your high school best. We fucking teenagers. I didn't know it was etiquette around that. So like I think I was one of my high school best friend at the time. I literally was sitting in the dark talking to him on the phone. My mom came down in the basement and like I guess she was
It
like
was a guy.
Yeah, it was a guy.
Okay.
Or whatever, and like she pumped up the steps like it was a regular day. She came down, did whatever she needed to do, came back upstairs. Halfway up the steps, she was like, "Are you gay?" I'm like, "What?" "Oh, I just want to know." Now, mind you, at the time, I did have a girlfriend or whatever. I did have a girlfriend.
I mean,
or whatever. And she asked me that, and I was just like, of course. I said no, or whatever. But she knew what was up, pretty much. But that's like, I guess, my family coming out story. But like, as far as like school coming out story, I told you someone was driving up. Like, I don't know what the fuck it was. Like, I was at practice one day. We were practicing inside because it was raining, and like how one of the residential twinks walked past while we were practicing, and
what
I
is a
don't
residential twink?
a twink walked past. Like you said, bitch, I'm not calling no names. A twink walked past, and I don't know what the fuck happened. My hormones were raging. I was like turned on in the middle of fucking baseball
By a
practice.
residential twink.
Yes.
I don't know what it was. Next thing you know, I come to school.
Check this off the list.
Next thing I come to school, the girls in school are asking me. Now, mind you, I was telling him I really didn't go to lunch like that or whatever at a certain time. I was really in like the computer room, like doing lunch. And like the girls were asking me, like, hey, are you turning? I'm like, girl, what? Turning what? Turning around?
Like what they
Like, what are you talking about? And then I put two
into something.
I put two and two together. So that was and then it was all downhill from there in high school.
Oh, I ain't come out in high school. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Because I would have been fighting every day. Of
That's
Southwestern.
Southwestern.
The girls that wanted to come out. I was afraid.
Like, I can tell you, like, I was the captain of the baseball team. I was kind of popular or whatever. And like, I think I can remember back where this guy, like, we got our ass whipped by these white boys, and like, I think it was Howard County or something. We were coming back, and the guys in the back of the bus, I always sat in the front of the bus. The guys in the back of the bus was like, "You're a fuck." He called me a dyke, a boy dyke. Because I wasn't, again, I didn't fit that.
I'm so sorry. Your boy like,
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't fit that typical
It's not a
hairdresser,
typical-
like the other
so
gay
that was their
guys.
way of trying to pick at you, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was just like, one of the guys, he was like, all these girls here, and you want to fuck with a guy or whatever and stuff like that. And I ignored it. It was really hurtful, but at the end of the day, when I see that same person out who fucking kind of chastised me, I let him know, like, bitch, you ain't fucking do shit. Look where I'm at. Look where you at. I'm lit, bitch. What are you? That's petty as shit,
At
but
the gas
like,
station begging for change. I've seen a couple girls in school that try me at the gas station. Excuse me, sir.
but
No,
yeah,
no.
No, ma'am.
I would say those are my, I guess, two coming out stories, I guess. It's up to you,
I guess
Swanky.
next. All right, so I think I want to preface this with saying, go ahead.
Next, we are going to go to Swank, aka Deontay, to talk about his coming out story, or one of them. So I'm going to open up the floor to you.
All right, so I just want to preface this with saying I think that coming out is continuous. And whenever you encounter a new person, it's like coming out all over again, even if you're living in your true identity. But in terms of like my top two stories that I can think of, I think back to high school as well. I think it was our junior year of high school. So for those who don't know, I went to City, and being gay at City was a norm, especially within the lesbian community. But with the guys, it was a bit more harder. And so by the time our junior year came, it was me and another group of guys who, and I'm still cool with most of them today. We made a pact that we were going to be the gay guys, but we was going to kind of keep it to ourselves. And so we decided to skip school one day.
Oh my God.
Right. We decided to skip school because we wanted to be some freaks. And
You wanted to be gay.
it was like four of us from City, and then like another person from another school. I'm not going to say that school because I don't want to give out anybody's name. And so we went to my house, which is crazy. My house was whatever. So we went to my house and we essentially all hooked up. Not all together, but separate. Some of us
Oh, I was
together.
ready to say the first time it was a random sexy adventure.
Okay.
No shit.
So we all hooked up, and so at this point in time, a lot of people were trying to figure out if I was gay or not in high school. Um, I've never been the most masculine guy. I've never been the most feminine guy, but a lot of people thought I was soft. I played football, I played sports, but people still thought I was soft. I remember in ninth grade when I first went to city, I had a girlfriend from middle school at the time, but people were still questioning my sexuality, which whatever. I mean, it did bother me, but it was who I was. Fast forward to junior year, we skip school, we go to my house.
Again?
We no, this is the same story. So this is I'm
Oh,
circling back
okay.
around.
This
This
is
might
the
have happened a
boom
few
boom.
more times.
This is the boom
Okay.
boom.
So we ended up hooking up. The next day in school, people are questioning, "Oh, y'all all skipped school? Y'all hooked up or something?"
Together.
Right. So the T was that one guy who we all went to school with. He was already out since ninth grade. And I remember when I first saw him, and I'm like, he's just overtly a lot. And so I'm going to try to keep my distance from him. And I love him dearly today. We're cool. I'm not going to name this person. If people went to city, they know who I'm talking about. They know exactly who I'm talking about. He was the one that told everybody essentially in
The
school.
day after.
He told the lesbians.
Not he told the
Oh,
doctor.
and
he,
they-
told the,
yeah.
he told Bobby
And they
Dykes.
got
Same
big-
thing. The boys told everybody else.
He told Bobby Dykes.
Yes, he told the Dykes, and because he was cool with the Dykes, I was cool with him too, but I wasn't as close as he was. And next thing you know, everybody's coming up saying, "Oh my God, y'all did this, and mind you, one of the guys who skipped school with us, he was a football player or whatever. So that was another big topic or whatever, because people were trying to figure out if he was gay or not too. And so I didn't really have a chance to come out in
They
high
outed
school.
you.
They outed
They
me,
took it from you.
but it made it easier for me
Yeah.
because I didn't have to come out and say, "Hey guys, I'm gay." Like I feel like what's understood doesn't necessarily have to be explained. And at that point in time, I was semi comfortable with myself. But he just pretty much outed us. The other story that I think about is when I think this was my senior year. I hadn't came out to my family, and my mom picked. This was before I started driving. My mom picked me up from work, and we was driving down Frederick Avenue. I remember this night vividly because I gagged when she asked me this question. She said, "Deontay, I got something to ask you." I said, "What's up?" She said, "Are you gay?" I said, "Huh? Why would you ask?"
That
Right.
question just struck
Like, when I say my heart dropped, my heart dropped. I was like, "Why would you ask me something like that?" She was like, "Because I'm just curious." I'm like, "No, I'm not gay." This whole time, she had a letter from my ex-boyfriend, my boyfriend at the time, that she found in my room. And she pulled the letter out and was like, "But why is this boy writing these love letters to you?" And I'm like, "Why are you in my room?" She's like, "What's in my house is mine." Every mother, especially black mothers, say that. And so we had the conversation as we were driving. She cried, I cried. And I remember her asking if she was a bad mom. And I'm like, "Why does my sexuality have to be about you being a bad mom? You're a great mom. It's just who I am as a person." So I remember she called a family meeting, me, her, and my little brother. And she told him essentially that I was gay. And I think I was 16. So we're 3 years apart. He was 13, I was 16. We were both in high school at this time. And she was like, "Do you view your brother any differently?" He was like, "No, I still love him. That's still my big brother." And so I guess those are the two coming out stories that I can think of, but I didn't get a chance to come out. I got outed essentially, or people came to me with it, which again made
So,
it easier.
in a sense, I'm just not to sound negative, but your mother outed you too. Well, not outed you per se.
Yeah, she told my brother, which I'm sure he knew because he used to call me soft too, or punk or whatever. But it wasn't a secret, but I kept it to myself. I didn't necessarily outright say it. So
Okay. So back to the host. I'll share one more story. This one is a bit more emotional. It was tears all over the place. So
Oh wow.
I had a journal. So I'm comfortable speaking about this now. Most people only know this is my closest friends and family, but I was sexually molested growing up by my big cousin. And that kind of affected me. Like that was trauma. Like trauma at its worst. So I used to try to cope with it. I would try to write to cope with it. But one day I was just like at wit's end. I think I was 15, 16. 16, I locked myself in my room and I just had the music blasting. And my sister was trying to get in the room to see what's going on because she heard me crying because I was listening to music. I don't remember exactly what I was listening to, but it was something that that was relatable. I'm trying to think about exactly what I was listening to. But my sister, which is my big sister, not my oldest one, not the one that locked me in the car. My middle age, my mother's middle child is the one who always, me and her, I would say this, can't live with her, can't live without her, but she knows everything about me. It's like we're emotionally connected. I think she just sensed that something wasn't right. So I was in there crying, I was writing. When she finally got in the room to figure out what was going on, I was literally laying on the floor crying, just trying to write out feelings. And she started reading, and I had an excerpt in my journal from, things that happened when I was young. And she just like, is this why you've been acting or you acting for like 3 years? I was just like mean to everybody, especially everybody in the house. So she went in there, showed the journal to my grandmother. My grandmother came in there, and she cried because she felt like she let me down because my grandmother helped raise me too. She was like, "This is something that I should have seen. I'm sorry." But at the same time, I should have said something. But I was also programmed to not say nothing because I was told bad things would happen to me if I ever said anything. So let's fast forward to the end of the night. My mother comes home, and my grandmother is sitting downstairs talking to her. So my mother instantly goes upstairs and get a gun and try to go out the house to like look for my cousin. But we had lost contact with him for like a good 10 years. But the crazy thing about it is he's not my blood cousin. He was like family of family, that type of scenario. The crazy thing is my grandmother and his mother, they're best friends. However, he transitioned to become a woman, or transgender woman, and like 3 years before, whatever the case, 3 years before this happened, that night, he died of like AIDS. So, and I kind of felt like vindicated. I didn't feel bad.
No.
I didn't. So, one, I know if my mother would have gotten to him, my mother probably would have went to jail for the rest of her life. She would have killed him. So, but fast forward through that night, it was just very emotional. My mother asked me why didn't I tell her. I was like, I didn't want you to do anything that you will regret because I blamed him for me being gay instead of just me being gay because that's who I am. I didn't really have my father around growing up. Now my stepfather, he took care of me, but we didn't really connect. And so it was always my cousins on my father's side and my big sisters and my aunts. I didn't really have like a dominant male growing up. I always looked to my sisters and my aunts. My cousins protected me, but I really didn't look to them like they was out killing people, drugs, shit like that. Because that's on my father's side of the family. So that was that coming out part. But we cried about it for like a good hour. Like just my mother explaining to me that, it's not your fault. I wish we could have caught it. And she felt like she carried a guilt. To the day she passed, she felt like she carried a guilt, her and my grandma, because they didn't catch it or look in between the lines. So, but now I look back and I say like, it's not their fault because they looked at it was like family. It was somebody they were supposed to trust. I mean, it happened. Can't change it, but that was that coming out part. So now that everyone has gotten through their come out stories, does anyone have another come out story? You had the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. Anything you can think of? Wongi?
I can say I know my grandfather probably knew I was gay or whatever. I think it was like, I don't know, like, so I'm pretty sure a lot of my close friends know, like, when I lived with my mom, my room was in the basement. And so, like, when I would come in the house, we would come through the basement. We would never come through the front door.
So you snuck your company in?
So, but it was a time where actually we came through the front door. And when we came through the front door, it was like it was a motherfucking movie night, bitch. Like, it was like grandfather, cousins, aunts, mother, sister, brother. Hey, y'all, this is blah, blah, blah. All right, come on, let's go.
Oh, you would introduce them?
Yeah. And they knew what was up. After that point, but I think I revert back to my first example. I'm pretty sure they already knew what it was. So.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought up your grandfather because I've never had an opportunity to come out to my grandfather. I'm sure he knew. My grandfather just passed away this year. I'm sure he knew. He loved me in spite of, but I never told him.
Y'all never had like a one-on-one, like
we've never had a conversation.
He never met anyone that you was dating or with?
No.
I can say not
And-
directly,
not
not
directly,
like,
yeah.
hey,
This is yes.
hey, granddaddy, this is blah blah blah.
So like for my 30th birthday, he was at so I had my 30th birthday at Trey House and my grandfather was there.
Mhm.
I didn't introduce Trey as my boyfriend or my man, but he's not stupid. You know, he's street smart.
How old was your grandfather, if you don't mind me asking?
60 something. Yeah, 60 something. I don't know the exact age. That's bad. 60 something. But I never came out to him. But I used to live with him. Like summers during college, I would go to it. I would live with him during the summer. And I remember a friend of mine, he kind of caught an attitude that I would like bring people in the house. But I think also because he's like from the streets, he was like leery of people and probably
Your
didn't trust
grandfather?
people. Yeah, like, my grandfather was like back in the day. But anyway, but I never had opportunity to come out to him and I kind of regret it. And even though I'm comfortable with myself, at least I think I am, it's still hard at times to come out to certain people. And my grandfather was one of those people, I would say. But I still live my life.
I
It's
get
weird.
that. I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from. Technically, to this day, I still haven't come out to my father.
Mhm.
But like I said, my father wasn't really like out like around growing up. He
Yeah.
drugs, but he got himself together. The relationship I have with him, it is what it is. But he not dumb. Like the last conversation I had when he was like, you know, you're my only living son. I'm gonna love you no matter who you are. I know I wasn't.
Excuse me.
You
It's
need
the
some, you need
it's
some,
the hookah.
you need some water.
No, it's okay. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me get the tongs. But he said to me when he was like, you know, no matter what, I'm proud of you, and I'm happy that you just let me be here for what's left.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But every time we get off the phone, he say I love you, but I'm still not 33 years old, and I'm still not comfortable with telling my father I love you.
Yeah.
So,
But that's kind of like a common thread between all three of us. Like it's kind of like men in our lives is a bit more difficult to have that conversation with for whatever reason.
So for
I get
me,
it.
so here's my thing. This is how I look at things. I was so strong-minded where I didn't care what you thought.
Mm-hmm.
It was either you were going to accept it or not be in my life.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. And I think it was maybe, you know, I was kind of, when I say like,
Let me get you on some more. I'm listening.
I was more, I can say that I was more stable or more, I don't know how to say it. I guess I was strong-minded, I guess. So it was pretty much like, I don't have to tell you. Like, it wasn't a thing with me where I'm saying like, you know, I gotta tell you or you have to accept it. It's just more so it is what it
This is
is.
who I am.
You see what you see. Either you're gonna respect it and be in my life, or we don't have to communicate.
Yeah.
That's just how that was my thought process. And to be honest, I don't necessarily regret that because it was no love lost.
Mhm.
When I see my grandfather, I still hugged him and kissed him on the head, forehead, or whatever.
Yeah. It is funny because I have a friend who just came out to his family recently, and for the most part, things went okay. But his father didn't accept it at first. And I was explaining to my friend that parents or whoever you're coming out to, they have to mourn the fact that the person that they expected you to be
Yeah,
is no,
expectations.
they're mourning that person. They didn't see your life that way for whatever reason, whether they accept it or not. And so just give him some time, and hopefully he might not come around, but hopefully he does. He eventually came around. And so again, people have this idea of who they think you should be, and when you show up differently, they actually have to get over the fact that what they thought you were going to be is not who you are.
But let's talk about that a little bit more because I reject that.
Okay.
Because that's on you, not me.
I agree. I
Or
agree
whatever.
100%.
And as long as I'm happy and healthy,
Mhm.
why does it matter?
I agree.
Because parents from birth they set an
They
expectation
do, yeah.
for their child. They want
But what if I'm straight and I still don't have no kids? Then what's up?
They still
Even-
your
even
mother
if you're
still probably
straight,
want a
they-
grandchild, or she
they
had
want that
grandchild,
legacy
but-
carried on.
Yeah.
and typically in engagement, like you know, it's there, but I don't want no kids.
Mhm.
Like when I die, my legacy will die. Like
Yeah.
but I'm okay with that. But parents don't want that for their kids. They want the legacy to live on. But I had my
I think that's a
nephews that-
cop out.
For them or
I just think that's a cop out
why you say that?
because not everybody's thinking about legacy. I think it's more so about them and their ego. I gotta
I think that's a
explain
piece of
this.
it. To my
I gotta
friends
explain
It's a
and-
piece of it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
can't you? But is it not fair to? Is it not fair for a parent to?
Think about legacy.
No, not legacy. Like their ego. Like, yeah, this is my child. I'm. This is my ego. I'm boast. My ego. How can I put this?
So when I say ego, I mean like I have to explain this to other people.
Mhm.
That's what I'm talking about. Not like what you. I
Okay.
guess what you were saying. This is more so like it's a notch under my belt. Like I have to explain this. I have to explain why my kid is outside
Mhm.
rollerblading in his cousin pink skates. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I was outside rollerblading in my cousin pink skates on a day that I didn't go to school. When she rolled up in a cheese bus, bitch, I was out there rollerblading. I didn't give a fuck.
It
You
took
gonna
me a
bite me
long
in my
time
mouth?
to not give a fuck because I was always worried about
What people were
what people were gonna think.
Of course, but I think what happened to me
Like
in high school,
into adulthood. Like
what happened to
20s.
me in high school kind of sort of built my like shell. Like I think of that video. Even look like this is why I think I like Lil Nas X really good. That video, is that football video. The football video, or like I can't remember what the hell his name is. It's the white boy.
Jack Harlow.
No, it's another white boy that everyone endorses. He had the suicide.
Okay.
I know you
Video.
I can't think of the name.
That is my
Yes.
like that. Not the suicide part.
But,
But-
1 second, we gonna pause.
Okay.
Just need to take a break, and we gonna pick up from that. All right. With the browser, it does it in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, 30 in the increments, okay.
Yeah.
Bitch, I need a
How we
refill.
doing so far? Are we
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Ponderosa.
No, I think, but bitch, I feel like this needs to be like a national conversation
It does.
because I feel like the parents are mad because they're embarrassed because we're gay. It doesn't have anything to do with legacy. I think it's that
I think
they're
it's
partly
both.
embarrassed.
It is an embarrassment because one, like you said, they do have to